Hi there everybody, my name is Hannah Milburn and this is my Unit 6 project. This week we were assigned to choose an idea or a specific person that we should empower or disempower. And so I decided to do my project on empowering the idea of retiring the penny. Now it's I guess not a very controversial topic, but people either usually do or don't want to retire the penny. And so when I first started off thinking about what I should do for my project, and actually the idea came to me when I was watching the Shepard Fairey interview, and he mentioned something about like the graffiti on the walls and placing as our plain billboards and stuff like that, things that wouldn't really hurt anybody. So I started thinking about things that I have laying around my house that I don't really use and that would be a good project. And I looked over and I have a jar of pennies just sitting by my front door. Every time my husband and I come home, we empty our pockets. We both make tips at our jobs, and so there were a ton of pennies in there. So I decided to take all the pennies out and see how much it was, and it felt like there was a ton of pennies, and it actually only ended up being like $1.50 in pennies. And I really thought about that our jar is almost full from just this past week. And if a price is $3.99 and somebody needs that penny back, they usually just throw it in your tip jar because they don't want it and it doesn't really mean much to them. So for my proposal on my propaganda, I'm just going to list a few reasons why we should retire the pennies. One of the biggest reasons that we should retire the penny is because it costs more than it actually is worth. On average, it costs about 2 cents to make a penny, and that comes out of the taxpayers' pockets. More people are using them for art. They're using them to make their penny tables, or they're collecting them. And they don't really think about saving. I mean, the expression is used, you're pinching your pennies. Most people don't really save their pennies if they're trying to save, because it would take a really long time to get all your pennies added up to what you were aspiring for your savings to be. The prices, if we got rid of pennies, the prices would just be rounded to the nearest 5 cents. So instead of having to pay $1.99, you'd end up paying $2, or it would be rounded down to the nearest 5 cents. Most people nowadays are so wrapped up in using their debit cards and their credit cards that the only reason that they actually use their change is to get rid of it, because they don't want it in their wallet and it makes it heavy and bulky. I work in food service, and I know when I have a line out the door and somebody's counting out their pennies because they don't want them anymore, it's very time consuming. So paying with pennies is a lot slower and a lot more time consuming than just swiping your debit card really quick. And it wouldn't hurt charities very much. I know people donate their pennies or, to the little slots that they have sitting around at restaurants and everything like that. But if you think about it, if 100 people donated 1 penny, it would only amount to $1, which isn't very much. It's not going to do much. And nowadays, there's very little things that cost less than $1. So this is the artwork that I decided to do for my propaganda. As you can see here, I have a dollar sign made from $1 in pennies. This is exactly $1 in pennies, and as you can see, it looks like a lot of pennies. And it is a lot of pennies. It's actually pretty heavy. And this goes to symbolize that it takes a lot of pennies to make $1, instead of just using dollars or even nickels. It only takes 20 nickels to make $1. And I put the rolls on here because if you look, it's 4 rolls of quarters is $2. I'm sorry. And if you had 2 rolls of nickels, that would be equivalent to the 4. So it's definitely taking up a lot of space, and this would be a big saver in government spending, as well as better utilization of the materials that we have. We have a lot of copper that's being wasted on pennies that most people don't even want anymore. And thank you so much for listening. This is my Unit 6 project.